Next rule. Negative sentences. Let's take a look. Subject, auxiliary verb, plus not, plus adverb, plus main verb. Okay, let's take a look on some examples. Of course, if we want to use don't, doesn't, auxiliary verbs, negative sentences, we don't need to use every time never, yeah, to create a negative context. No, we can use the standard negative form of the present simple with auxiliary verb don't or doesn't, and after don't or doesn't put adverb of frequency or time marker. We do not usually watch TV after lunch. As you can see, do not before the adverb of frequency usually, or usually after do not, yeah, after the auxiliary verb. This is the important to remember the position of each part of the speech in sentences. They don't always wait for you. They, subject, auxiliary verb, do plus not, always adverb of frequency, wait, the main verb of the action. So always between auxiliary verb, do not, do plus not, yeah. So we can also say this is adverb of frequency. We need to put after the not, yeah, the negative word, because we have subject, auxiliary verb do, plus negative word not, after that adverb of frequency, after that the main verb of the action. So I don't always wait you. I do not always wait you. Question sentences. Auxiliary verb, standard structure, we need to put do or does before the subject, after the subject adverb of frequency, after the adverb of frequency you have your main verb of the action. And of course, examples. All this structure, right, like the first, positive sentences, negative sentences, questions, and examples. Do you always eat here? Question, because we need to put do, yeah, at the start of the question. How can we identify the question? Do at the start of the sentence, after the subject, always adverb of frequency, eat, the main verb of the action. Do you always eat here? How often? Always. Does he usually do that? Does, because subject he usually adverb of frequency after the subject he, do, the main verb of the action. How often? Usually. This is repeated actions, that's why this is present simple tense. Take note about negative adverbs. Negative adverbs such as never, seldom, rarely, hardly, ever cannot be used in negative sentences. Negative sentences, it means with don't and doesn't. The following sentence is incorrect because it has a double negative. And wrong and correct example. So wrong, the weather isn't never sunny. So as you can see, we have the verb to be is plus not plus negative adverb of frequency never, is not never. No, this is wrong. Correct. The weather is never sunny. So the weather is, verb to be is, after that never, adverb of frequency sunny. So this is your positive sentence with a negative adverb, and it is equal negative context, yeah? Practice a little bit with this type of examples. Write your own examples, like wrong example with a time marker never, and correct. We have a list. Seldom also, how often? Not so often, but never, it's like the negative, never. Take note about sometimes. Sometimes can go before the subject, before the main verb, and at the end of the sentence. 3 different positions, and all of them can be right. Yeah, in speaking, in daily life speaking communication, if someone will use this type of sentences, position for sometimes, at the start of the sentence, before the subject, after the subject, before the main verb, at the end of the sentence, this is normal for people to speak like that. Sometimes we go fishing. We sometimes go fishing. we go fishing sometimes. 3 different positions. And we can't say this is wrong. People use this type of sentences and put sometimes everywhere. Take note. Adverbs of frequency in the present continuous. Okay, we usually use adverbs of frequency with the present simple, but they can also be used with the present continuous. The adverb comes between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. Yeah, present continuous structure. We are going to talk about present continuous structure in the next section, but in the present continuous we have subject, we have auxiliary verb to be, in the form am is are, after that the main verb of the action plus ing. So between am is are, the verb to be, or the main verb of the action plus ing, we need to put adverb of frequency. She is always losing her phone. She is verb to be. Always, adverb of frequency, lose plus ing, losing. So this is the main verb of the action. Is auxiliary verb, losing the main verb of the action, and we can put between them what? Yeah, adverb of frequency. Okay, coloring our arrow and right now. Okay, this is perfect. So that's all for this lection. If you have some questions, you can ask me. Write your own examples, sentences for each rule. In each lection, you need to follow these tasks. And I will see you at the next lection. Stay positive, learn English, have fun, enjoy all this learning process, and I will see you at the next lection. Bye bye, students. The quadratic expression. Teacher, exactly in this case you are looking for 2 numbers. One more time, we right now are looking at the formula, we are resolving the formula, we are working with the quadratic expression, so we are in the present continuous. For these topics and questions, for these types of conversation, present simple and present continuous,